Good Wednesday evening to you, friends and neighbors. How are you? It is good to see you, and it is good to be seen by you. And me being glad to do the seeing and the being seen am he, Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, coming to you live, loud, and clear on a Wednesday evening from an undisclosed location somewhere in the swamps of sunny Central Florida. How the heck is everybody? I'm glad everybody's here. And who is here? We've got Great Old Ones channel, Shellback, Bo, Advanced Fantasy Games, Daniel Rowan, Robert Phillips, Robert Santon, and a fair few more you guys hanging out there, and that's a really good thing. So let me ask those of you, Orbital Air, he's over there too. Dungeon Crawl, I love that handle. It's direct, it's to the point, it tells us what you're about, and that's what we like to talk about here on the Delver's Dungeon. Odd Scimitar, you finally made it on time. Welcome, welcome. Bob Jester, good to see you. Hey, what's up? What is up? Rusty Dagger, good to see you. Road March, the pollen is going away, thank goodness. Message of the day: let the intrusive voices win. Good evening to you, Jesse. By the way, I will always keep the wine cold for you and Jesse. Your daughter, 8 months, was soldier by Corblund, and she immediately called. Oh, that's wonderful. Or horse soldier by Corblund. Very nice. I'm glad she settled down, Shellback. No, that's a wonderful thing, Robert. I think that's absolutely fantastic. I'm quite happy for you and for him. Good for him. That is awesome. I think that is delightful. So, we had a lot of fun last night. We played some first edition AD&D. We had a great group of people here in the studio. We've added a player. Dave rolled in and took on the mantle of Roy, the magic user, and played him with great aplomb. So we applaud you, Dave, and look forward to many more adventuring sessions with you. Zachary Melvin says he started his first 1E campaign. If a problem, my who used to playing 5E, she using up spells in first combat. How can fix it? Did you cut that down to try and get it all into the space you have to type? I mean, let the problem sort itself out. Let Mother Nature take its course. They will learn. They will learn. Or maybe even that veteran Shellback Bow in exchange for a few magic items first. You know, a scroll, ring of protection, +1 dagger, all that sort of thing. But you can have a lot of fun with it. Hey, call to action. If you haven't already clicked the subscribe button, please do click the bell icon for notifications. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. Tonight's show is brought to you by me and my merch. My merch is linked down below. It is absolutely fantastic merch made by the one and only Monsignor Dr. Tracy Lesh, Dr. Monsignor Judge Federal Tracy Lesh. So go ahead and please and pick some of that up. It's also brought to you by Crom, the Character Record Organization Manager. You've heard me talk about it. You've heard me sing its praises. Guys, for $25, it pretty much is everything you need in character creation for first edition AD&D. So please check it out. If you want to know more about it, drop me an email right there, and I will tell you all about it. If you want to support the show, you can support us for as little as $1 over on Patreon or $2.99 here on YouTube. So you can absolutely do that. Speaking of stuff, I want to mention something. I want to mention a few different somethings. This is kind of announcements, if you will. One, I am still looking for some word from Todd Sharp. Todd, buddy, bubby, I'm your white knight. Todd is one of our winners of our original D&D drawing we did back in December when we had our holiday gift drawing for an OD&D wood grain reproduction set. Could be this one right here I'm pointing at. It's not. I got his on the shelf over there. Todd, paging you again, buddy. Please, 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 get me your info. Get me your mailing info. Let me know that you want it. We're rapidly coming up on June. June 1st. That's it. 6 months, 180 days. And we'll contest that sucker off again. I don't want you to miss out on it. So please jump in there on that. Speaking of sending stuff out, you heard Todd said send it to Shellbackbow. I'll ask him about that. I'll ask him about that when I get a hold of him, Shellback, just in case. But we have been doing some giveaways of some we have been giving away Dragon Magazine, back issues of Dragon Magazine, just random drawings. We've been doing a spinner, been doing just like eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Piggy. This is for our channel members and for our patrons out there watching. Yeah, exactly, Road March. Exactly. So I have sent out most of them. Today. And I also, right this very second, want to say, so first of all, I have 8 custom Crom thumb drives. It is a thumb drive on which a copy of Crom lives. So, you've got everything you need. You pop that in any computer, you sit down and you start running. It's got the Crom logo on it. That is actually Michael Dale's little contribution to the show. I've still got a bunch of those. Someone purchased one a couple of months ago, and I failed to get it to them in a timely fashion. But I do want to say, and you know who you are. You know who you are. I'll just tell you guys, it was Rob Turner. It's finally out there. It went out with the copies of Dragon Magazine. Now, we drew for this copy of Dragon Magazine, and before I go back and watch the tapes, this is Dragon 76. Did any of you guys win this? Because I know it was a giveaway because it's turned around and facing backwards. That's how I keep them straight. So I do not remember who won this issue of Drag. I got Gonzalo Lira's sent to him. I got Wheeling Dragons sent to her. I got Joe Kaufman's sent to him. You won 76. Okay, Bob, I will get this to you Saturday morning. This will go in the post on Saturday morning. Of course, yours is the one I forgot. But what year is this? 76 is, I want to say it's like it's what year is this? There's usually something that says the year in here. August 1983. This is the August 1983 issue. I'm not giving these out in any particular order. I'm literally just grabbing one at random. Forgotten but never gone. That's right, Bob. So yes, that's August of 83. I would love to have a copy, even if it's a pod of every issue. Oh, me too. I have about 100 issues, thanks to someone who very kindly donated them to the show. I have a beautiful library. I think the lowest number issue I have is 22. Anything getting into the teens is going to cost you hundreds of dollars. Anything 10 and below, the issues start to go up to many hundreds of dollars. 1 through 6, I think you can kind of forget laying your hands on. That is original D&D wood grain set territory. But if you want all the Dragon magazines and all the Dungeon magazines, go to archive.org. There's 400 issues of Dungeon magazine, and they host a torrent if you want them locally. Our Dragon magazine and Dungeon magazine and Polyhedron, they host a torrent and you can download those. But I have the Dragon magazine right there to the tip of my finger. The 250 issue CD-ROM set that dropped in 1999 and got TSR. Well, okay. So here's the thing. The Impressum was TSR. They were owned by Wizards of the Coast at this point. But this got people in a lot of trouble. Got people in a lot of trouble. Namely because some of the high 200s approaching 250 had that Knights of the Dinner Table comic strip in it, and apparently Kenzer and Co. did not give them permission to do that. IWS Bull, good to see you. Do I recommend getting the Best of Dragon 1 through 5? You're sure I have them. Yes, I do have them. 2 of them are in the giveaway box. That's right. Best of Dragon 1 and Best of Dragon 2 are in the giveaway box. That's right. You could wind up with a copy of Best of Dragon. But do I recommend getting them? 1 and 2, absolutely. 3, but like by the time you hit 4 and 5, they're basically nothing but splat books. primarily because, just my opinion, my 2 cents, you're getting you're really getting into TSR, basically just taking just kind of ill-considered stuff and sort of just saying, just flogging it. Troubled Minds, good to see you. Hate that you missed the party. Well, we hate that you missed the party too, IWS. But yeah, I have all 5 of them. I bought them to do a video deep dive kind of stuff on. They're okay. They're not great. They're not terrible. Once you get past issue 3, I honestly think you can just do that. If they were still hitting heavy, like, honestly, I think the first one, they shouldn't have focused on anything outside of like issue 25 of Dragon. Like, we should have gotten Fritz Leiber's fiction in there. We should have gotten Gardner Fox fiction. So yeah, I think they got away from the early days way too fast. Slicing up 10 pounds of hamburgers and putting them in 1 pound freezer bags, you're set for a few days. That's a lot of hamburgers. Any advice on how to get my young 5E group to convert to 1E? Are you the dungeon master? Tell me, are you the dungeon master? And I'll answer your question. You are the dungeon master. Then tell them you're switching the game to first edition advanced D&D. And if they have any complaints, point them at my stream. I'll deal with them. There's an Art of the Dragon. Yes, there is an Road March. There is an Art of Dragon book out there. One thing I can tell you is well, I don't really want to say all that. You get a lot of that in Art and Arcana. Actually, Shellback Bows is a lot, suggestion is a lot more civil. Run a one-shot for them. And run something, if they tend to lean into cozy a little bit more, do N1 against the Cult of the Reptile God. There's a whole town with taverns and NPCs they can yammer with. If they like the hack and slay stuff, run G1 for them. Yeah, one shot's a really good idea. But once you start to whet their appetites, I recommend either T1 The Village of Hamlet or B2 Keep on the Borderlands. So follow-up question. Dungeon Crawl. Are there any furry race players in your game? Any Kankus, Tabaxi, Tortle, Loxodont, Lizard Folk, Dragonborn, anything like that? You're letting them play goblins and half orcs and that nonsense. Yeah, we actually did the Ben Riggs interview on April 1st on 2XS. A Dragonborn. Yeah. You know, if they bandy around the term isekai, you could have you know what you could do? Sit down with their 5e characters, pare them down to nice, clean first edition AD&D characters, and I got a piece of software that can help you with that. And then have the Dragonborn. What is the term the kids use these days? Isekai. He wakes up as a person. You know, if he needs story other than you're not that anymore, Bahamut or Tiamat willed it. That's what you are now. Wanted to humble you. Dude, there ain't no prestige in playing a scaly. Miss me with that. What is there was something very unsettling feeling on my foot, and as it happened, it was a piece of tape stuck to my toe. But anyway, that's my that's my advice. Tiefling, half elf or half orc. You're damn right I said that. You're very welcome, Dungeon Crawl. Please report back and let us know how that worked out for you. I would be keen to hear how that went. So what am I going to auction off the piece of tape? Yes, open auction right now. We're starting bidding on this piece of blue masking tape that was stuck to my toe. We'll start the bidding at 5 cents. 5 cents. Put your bids in. 5 cents for the piece of blue tape that was stuck to my toe. See, I'm being nice and not putting it on the magazines. I'll put it out there on the table. Now, 5 bits, a bit is half of a quarter. So 5 bits, let's see, that's 12.5 cents. So that's 50 cents. That is 62.5 cents. 62.5 cents. Opening big. See, here's the thing with me. People say, like, oh, kobolds are dog-like. Kobolds are lizard dog-like. I never played a D&D where kobolds were purely dog-like. They were scaly canine humanoids. $2 for that piece of tape in tonight's giveaway. I mean, thank you for the super. I wasn't planning on doing a giveaway tonight. Oh, speaking of the giveaways, that brings up something else that I did want to discuss. I was remiss in getting stuff out, and Bob Jester, your dragon will go out this way too. But I will not be sending stuff priority unless you specify I want my giveaway priority, and I want to pay for it. Priority mail is for like a magazine is $9. The little box that I sent the thumb drive out in today was $10.60. So, oh, thank you. Well, I'm glad to be back, Shellback. So, unless you tell me, I want this priority mail, and I will tell you why that's a bad idea in just a second. Then I'm going to send it media mail. It may take a week to get to you, not 2 days. You will gladly pay to not have something take 2 months to get to you. No, I understand that, Shellback. I used to have piles and piles and pile. I had a friend who passed away 6-7 years ago. I think 7 or 8 years ago, 8 or 9. I don't exactly remember. His wife left me a massive RPG collection that I would never have used. And there were many complete or near complete sets of stuff. I am still to this day kicking myself for not hanging on to the Gamma World 2E box and the modules at GW1, GW2, and GW3. I don't think it had Albuquerque Starport in it, but the point is, I did verily flip a bunch of that stuff on the Facebook RPG Marketplace. And I sent stuff out media mail, and one buyer was really upset because USPS curled and rubber banded the padded envelope I sent his Temple of Elemental Evil in. And he said that the rubber band had actually pulled through the envelope, had like ripped the envelope and done damage to the book inside. And I felt horrible. Media mail goes to San Fran and gets put on a cargo ship to Tokyo and then down to the Navy base. So again, unless you specify, I want I want a copy of Dragon. I want it 2-day priority. That's going to cost you $12. Yeah, I learned a hard lesson about packing things. How did the games go? The games went really good. We had 20 games. We had planned 24, and then we had some cancellations. We had some last minute cancellations. Ever read Screwtape? No, but I've heard a lot about it. Sorry. I'm very thirsty. I wish this was full of water again. But anyway, yeah, so we had a few people who, you know, life happens at cons. Like, hey, I'm going to come up to DiceCon and I'm going to run this, you know. Hey, the weekend I was planning on coming up, you know, I came down with a severe case of athlete's head. I won't be there. Hey, Tolomika, it's good to see you. How many panels? We had 6 panels. We had Alyssa Hazel, Richard Witters, Sky Hernstrom, Stephen Radney McFarland, Tracy Lesh, and Eric Garland and Heidi Gygax Garland. So it was great. Hello, Jay Man. Like, you don't get him, man. Wood panels what, Shellback? You were in Hawaii and you couldn't get to the... You could have been there on your phone. Michael Connor, good to see you. By the way, Michael Connor, the Florida contingent of Friends of the Old Dungeon Delver, FOD. Friends of Old Dungeon Delver, foo doo doo. Derek, man. You just don't get him, man. But anyway, yeah, so we had 6 panels. Good times, very good times. And it was actually one of the panels was the only place where we had a technical issue. And I have talked about this before, but it was Eric and Heidi could hear the audience. The audience could hear Eric and Heidi. The audience could hear me. I could hear the audience. I could hear Eric and Heidi. Eric and Heidi could not hear me. Hey, I understood that reference, Bob. Yes, I have seen that video, Michael Connor. I made a statement about that. I made a statement on my own Discord about that. Obviously, I can't enforce it. Like, you have to watch this video beginning to end and then click OK before you're allowed in the Discord. I would if I could. But also, while I hate React content, I am going to be doing a bit of a react to it. Was it the MechWarrior 2 designer guy? Are you talking about my friend Eric? I don't know why he's entering the conversation. Now, I'll mention something that I said Monday evening, afternoon. I don't want to bring this up. Somebody said something. I just saw this in discussion, like on Twitter, about the video. But someone made the comment regarding We Love TTRPG, something about, I could never agree with his politics, but fuck all that. To quote Mr. Pink, fuck sides. What we need here is a little bit of solidarity. And that is very much my attitude. Yes, I did ask Aton to be here. Is it Aton or Aiton? Like Eton, the British university. I did ask him. He God bless him. He shared a picture of speed test. His up is like 1.6. To put that in perspective, that's about 7 times faster than a 56K modem. The first broadband I ever had was through ADSL. The slowest it ever was 3 megabits. My dude is paying for cable internet in the middle of a major city. I don't know where he's at, but his supposed to get speed is 1.6 megabits. I wish I could mail him. Like some of the bandwidth that I have month to month. Because I have gigabit. I have 500 up and 500 down. He's in the Northwest. Okay. But yeah, no, if there were any way I could get him on the show, and I should talk to him about, like, when I've had Dave LaForce on the show, the Great Diesel, Steve Marsh, my secret girlfriend, RH Snow. If I say her name 3 times, she might appear like Beetlejuice. But no, I've dealt with bad bandwidth situations before. Hey, Joe Kaufman, I was just mentioning to everyone, I have sent out all but one, technically 2, and I'll explain the other one in just a minute, of the winning draws of Dragon magazine here. In fact, why don't I get a few out, and we'll kind of fill this box up again. Why don't I do that real quick? But anyway, Joe, yours should be there by Friday. Joe, Friday. Just a second. Yes, I want RH and Baby Goats back on the show. Hold on. So here we go. I'm just going to kind of slot these in here at random, because what I have here, I don't think you guys can hear me. I was incorrect. I have 2 Best of Dragon 2s. Yeah, a lot of people will get the Joe Friday reference, because that was Dan Aykroyd in a movie with Tom Hanks all over 34 years ago. No, that was in the 80s. God, that was 40 years ago. Oh. Whew. The Dragnet movie starring Tom Hanks and Dan Aykroyd is older today than the Dragnet TV show was when they created the parody of it. Hey, Shellback, thank you for becoming a member. Where did I get the bunch of stuff from? This bunch of stuff was donated to the show by a fan over on X. He basically was like, I want this stuff to go to a good home. Who would like this stuff? And I was like, I'll take this stuff. And he was running down the length of the state. He came and met me here in Central Florida, and we, I got this giant collection of magazines. So, yes, the Virgin Connie Swale. Bit of trivia about the Dragnet movie. So at the end of it, when oh no, it's not Jeremy Irons. I can picture the actor So he played General Chang in The Undiscovered Country. You guys know who I'm talking about. English actor, great guy. I know you guys will Google it up. But anyway, he is fleeing the United States in his Learjet. He is pulled over. He is pulled over. Christopher Plummer, thank you. Father of Amanda Plummer, a very quirky young woman. So he's flying along in his Gulfstream, and he gets pulled over by Joe Friday in a fighter jet. What he's actually flying in LAPD livery, as far as I'm aware, the Los Angeles Police Department does not have its own jet squadron. But what he's flying is a Northrop T-38 Talon trainer jet. They are used as training jets for NASA to get pilot training in. And they are used as aggressors, although that's mostly been taken over by like F-16s and other jets, but they did use them as aggressors. Now, here's a little blow your mind kind of thing, and then I'll come back to this jet. I promise. So we're holding it over here. The lineage of the FA-18EF Super Hornet, the one that operates today, the thing that is essentially a carrier-born F-15E Strike Eagle in terms of function and capabilities, is the great-great-great-grandson of the T-38 Talon. It is. It is. And that jet goes back to the 1950s. If you look at the layouts, you can absolutely see the lineage. But let's get back to the jet in Dragnet. That jet was the company that owned it and operates it as a private acrobatics company. They leased their jet and their pilot out to Pepsi. And why is that important? Because if you bought the VHS of Top Gun, which I didn't have a VCR. I did not own a VCR, and my parents bought a copy of Top Gun for the day when we would get a VCR. But there is like a minute-long commercial in there where, you know, some pilots are doing some Top Gun training stuff, and one of them activates a button, and a bottle of Pepsi starts to rise up out of a little refrigerated unit, and it gets jammed. And he comes up with a solution. He rolls inverted, and he's flying upside down over his friends. But the jet he's in is that same jet that's in Dragnet, and it was sold on eBay back in the early 2000s. It was sold on eBay in the early 2000s. So there you go. There you go. There's a little bit of trivia. That's right, Michael Connor. First commercial on a VHS movie. And that was one of the first sell-through VHS movies to break the price point. Like, I remember calling a video store just to ask if they sold a copy of, what was it? It may have been Star Wars. And they're like, Yes, it's $89.99. This is like mid 1980s money. So that's like paying like $380 for a single copy of a movie today. Imagine throwing down that much money for a Blu-ray today. Brian Young's H.P. Lovecraft horror movie, not counting, because that got special versions of the Brian Young's H.P. Lovecraft movies, like From Beyond, and so on and etc. Reanimator. Those things, they're released for like 5 minutes and then they disappear off the market. That one I could see you paying that much for, but I tell you, so that to bring things back a little bit more D&D centric, but also speaking of Lovecraftian horrors, and video, I remember Mrs. the Dungeon Delver and I were some of the first people that we knew to own a DVD player. When did Blockbuster kick off? Late 70s. No, you still had to rent them, Joe. You even though they cost a lot for retail, that was the point of renting. Nobody's going to buy a copy of Blues Brothers. That's $75. Again, that's the equivalent of $300 or $400 today. But rent it for a weekend. Hell, rent it overnight. I have a limited edition DVD copy of Army of Darkness. I quite like it. Again, me, the only person that Mrs. the Dungeon Delver and I knew who had a DVD player for the longest time. So when I heard that was coming out, I was like, yes, please. So I bought it mail order. I purchased it mail order. I loaned it to a friend of mine. Now, I want to spoil this. I have the DVD back. It's fine. Nothing untoward ever happened to it. I loaned it to a friend of mine at the time, and it was gone for weeks. And when I asked him, are you done with it? Because have you watched it? I haven't watched it yet. Okay. I finally find out it's making the rounds in our non-mutual friend circle. He has loaned it to someone else. I was ever so pissed. Don't lend stuff with that. Rob Turner. I'm going to answer your question, Coochie, in just a second. Rob, I have mailed you your thumb drive copy of Crom. It is in the mail. It will be at your house Friday or Saturday. I sent it today, priority mail. Let me know if you want a tracking number. But it is in the system now. Well, then happy birthday to you, my friend. Happy birthday. In fact, you know what? Why wait? Because it's your birthday. Rob. Check your email after the show. Okay. Any tips for running Ravenloft as a one-shot? Skip everything and start them right in the castle. Do the whole lead up, all the wandering around Barovia bullshit, and literally say, You are in the vestibule. You have inserted coin. You have started. If you want that module to go as a one-shot, don't fuck about. Put them in area 1, the vestibule, or whatever it is. I haven't even read Ravenloft in years. But yeah, I would skip all that stuff where there's a wall of fog and you get stuck and there's scared village. Start them in area dungeon encounter area 1. Because otherwise, my friend, you are stuck. All right, Shellback, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I will reach out to you. All right, next question was, what is my most cherished FRPG related movie? I mean, there's only there have been 4 fantasy role-playing game related movies that were not meta. And that is Dungeons and Dragons, Wrath of the Dragon God, Book of Vile Darkness, and the Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves movie that just came out in 2023. That's it. And the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, but even it is kind of meta because it establishes when the kids go to the theme park that they say, hey, look, a Dungeons and Dragons ride. The Dungeon Master's name is Dungeon Master. And he says in the intro blurb, welcome to the world of Dungeons and Dragons. So that's a little meta in the same sense that Mazes and Monsters is meta. It really is. So, I mean, really, those are my 4 to pick from. I've seen a little bit of Wrath of the Dragon God. I've seen all of the 1999 Dungeons and Dragons movie, none of Book of Vile Darkness, and I have not seen Honor Among Thieves yet. So if we drop the little bit of Wrath of the Dragon God, there's one movie, and it's that piece of shit from 1999 or from 2000 that Courtney Solomon did. So I do not cherish it at all. But by dint of being the only one that I've seen, it's that one. Got a nice Karatura box set for Oriental Adventures. You want to put it in a case to save the box. Any recommendation for that type of protector? I would shop around on Amazon and look for a UV resistant Lexan case is what I would recommend. I mean, the Kickstarter fulfilled Shellback. So I would, I'm working on the module. Dan Tesh, good to see you. Sorry. I'm a little tired, guys. Now, let's take a step back and let's talk about the meta. The gamers, Darkness Rising, and yes, even Mazes and Monsters all count as FRPG movies. They're just meta. The game is a function of the film, not the film itself. I'd like to do that, Joe. ECBST 6. Yes, I remember also. You're more concerned that you missed a "we need your address to send you your goodies" email. $59 in June. I'm not that far behind you. 56 here. But yeah, I remember seeing that piece of crap on TV. I have. Please tell me I don't still have it over there. No. I have the hardback here. This is again, I maintain Rona Jaffe's hot. I mean, she is a cutie. I'm saying she's a solid 6.5, guys. And granted, this is almost 50 years ago, and she has long since passed away. But she said that she said, and by the way, I want to point out something. Zoom back in. I don't know if you guys can see it. There is a graph paper design under the name and above this, and this here, this part, the stylized M and M's follow the shape of graph paper. If nothing else, you get a dungeon map you can expand on. Necromancer. You know what? We're gonna take. We're gonna take and read a few pages of a random chapter from this right now. Take care, Rob Turner. Enjoy your dinner and check your email. Let's see. Let's find some actual play. Let's find some actual play. Oh, I think I found. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Chapter 5. See, now that my studio light situation is better, I don't have to squint much. The four of them were sitting in Daniel's room after supper, beginning to play the new game he had spent the summer contriving. They had already chosen their characters. Kate was Glacia, the fighter, again. JJ was still Freelik, the frenetic of Glossamere, a sprite, and Robbie was Pardew, a holy man. They sat in a circle on the floor, pencils and graph paper ready to chart their dangerous and difficult course. And Daniel had put up the small screen that the maze controller used to hide the pages of the scenario he had invented to take them on their imagined trip. So already we've got characters, we've got a game master screen. Beginning players used rule books, and as their skills grew more advanced, they progressed to ever more complicated and imaginative books of adventures, departing from them when they wished. I don't think Rona really understands, but okay. Daniel used a combination of advanced books and things he had invented. So Daniel's just out there rolling with house rules. He had to because JJ, with his photographic memory, had memorized nearly every book that could be bought. So JJ is a metagaming piece of shit. JJ is that guy. Fuck you, JJ. We hate you. You're the guy that rolls in and ruins D&D games. Daniel didn't even want to think how much money JJ had spent, but JJ was rich, and those things didn't mean much to him. Oh, I hate JJ. Fucking JJ. Holding the dice in his hand, Daniel began to talk. The other three looked at him with rapt attention. He knew they were visualizing everything he told them, and he was aware of how real it was, for he had been a player once himself. I was once a player. Half a day's walk from the small town, there is a wasteland of gnarled hills covered with withered trees and dried grass. Beneath these hills is the entrance to the forbidden caves of the Jinnarak. As long as anyone can remember, no one has ever entered these caves, and it is rumored that within them lives a mutated people, once human, now changed from generations in the foul depths to creatures unrecognizable and vicious. But perhaps that is just a rumor, and perhaps the last of them have died. Still, there are other dangers, but it is also known that there are wondrous things within for those brave and clever enough to take them. Shall you enter? Daniel's light on the box text. I love this guy as a DM. That was his whole premise, okay? That was 10 lines. 10 lines. Solid DMing right there. 10 lines. Yes, said Kate, and the other two nodded. The entrance is only 5 feet high. As you enter, you find her in a small room, pitch dark, with the sound of running water. Give the dimensions of the room, JJ said, writing. JJ just got volunteered as mapper. I'm just going to be like, cool, you're mapping. 6 paces wide, 12 feet long. On the right, there are 2 doors. Whose pace? JJ demanded. See, JJ knows the DM is throwing. JJ knows Daniel has got him sussed. You never want to have your players making perfect maps. Leave him a little confused. Daniel understands this. JJ's trying to meta. Again, JJ. Humans. Okay, 8 feet. Yeah, you roll with that, JJ. You roll with that and see how far that gets you. Is there let's see. Okay, 8 feet. I can see in the dark. I see the doors. Do you, JJ? You just decided you see the doors. You decided that's how infravision worked, JJ. Is there writing on them? Kate asked. Yes, Daniel said, but it is in an unknown tongue. He threw the dice. An 8. Pardew can understand the message, but it will be garbled. Oh, if you think you hated JJ before. The dungeon master is trying to set a scene here. Guess what JJ does? Listen to this. It says ladies' room and men's room, JJ said, and rolled on the floor laughing. She literally had him ruffle. This is where I take a sidebar with this player. And I'm like, look, dude, we're all here to have fun. I'm trying to set a mood, and you're metagaming, and you're throwing in jokes. Fucking JJ. Come on, JJ, Daniel said sternly. Stop fooling around. Yeah, Dan. You put that little shit, that little rich son of a bitch in his place. Sorry. Take care, Shellback. Be well. What do I see? Asked Robbie. Journey here forever, unless, and the rest is unknown to you. Mysterious. Good DMing, Daniel. Good DMing. I think we should feel the doors, said Kate. If the running water is behind one of them, it might be magic water, and we don't want to let it out. She threw the dice. A 12. What can I do? You can open one of them, Daniel said. That's some weird house rules I got going on here. She felt herself entering the landscape of the game now, and her heart began to pound. She had brought some armor, a short sword, food, a lantern, and a few coins in case there was anyone to be bribed. Pardew had his magic spells, and Freelich had his own powers, as well as the ability to deceive. It was dangerous to light her lantern in case there was a monster in the room who would then be able to see them and attack them. Good thinking. Very good thinking. Thank you, Kate. But darkness frightened her more. Darkness was one of the most terrible things she knew, with the sound of breathing, the thing that had happened that night. But she wouldn't think about it now. Ooh, Kate's working through some trauma at the table. Now there was only the game where she would take revenge on creeping, soft-breathing things, where she would flash her sword and kill and conquer. She lit her lantern. The small room was empty. She could see the writing on the doors, and she couldn't read it at all. It was in the ancient Generac tongue. Will Mystery Fungin Theater 3000? I don't know. We'll have to see. We will have to see. Almost dragged my mouse off when I moved the chair there. Let me jump back out. Let's see. JJ knew why he'd been fooling around. The game always frightened him a little at the beginning, having to make that commitment. It was, he knew, something deep and invasive once he got involved in it. It was a fantasy he ate, slept, and dreamed. More than the excitement of the perils, he liked the satisfaction of winning. JJ is a power and metagaming piece of crap. I feel like their gaming group is so small, they're stuck with JJ. DM and Friends is streaming about Boot Hill with Alan Hammock. Unfortunately, I'll be running my Boot Hill at the same time. Excellent. Alan's a great guy. I really enjoy Alan. Alan's company. I've had him on the show 4 or 5 times. uh, wound up as a roommate with him at 2 cons that I've been hosted at. Freelick didn't really need the treasure. Sprites could always do for themselves, but treasure was pretty satisfying to own, and you could give parties with it, have feasts, sing, tell stories, and dance all through the enchanted nights in the moonlight under the trees. It was for this later pleasure he could go into the terrible mazes. And besides, in a way, he liked tempting the unexpected. The human world seemed far away now, pathetic and boring. Oh, yeah, he's that guy. Now we get to Robbie, Tom Hanks's character in the TV show. By the way, are you guys like actually enjoying this? If you're enjoying this, give the video a thumbs up, give me a like, leave a comment down below if you're watching this after the fact. Robbie, safe in the cloak of Pardew, the holy man, walked with short steps over the damp, crumbling floor of the maze. Glacia's lantern swayed in her hand and cast its glow into the dark shadows ahead. A terrible shriek rent the air. 6 giant Gorvals leaped up from a hidden pit, snarling their rage at having their terrain invaded. Dimly in the distance, he could hear the reassuring clack of the dice. His small dagger firmly in his hand, he sprang at the nearest Gorval, sticking it in the center eye. It screamed shrilly and ran away, waving its little webbed arms. Glacia was whacking everywhere, the strongest of the strong. I will enchant one, Freelick cried. It will tell me where the treasure is. How happy Pardew was to be here on his sacred ground, warm in the company of his trusted friends, guiltless and good. It was a fine thing to have a mission. Daniel smiled. They were in it now. They really liked his game. Kate's shoulders were tense. Her eyes squinted as if she could actually see the unknown. JJ was giving forth little squeaks of excitement, telling everyone what to do as usual. We don't like you, JJ. It did mention JJ's rich. All I can figure is JJ's buying the beer and pizza and snacks. If he's holding up that end of it, it's at least somewhat tolerable. If they had really been in the maze, the sprite would have been hopping around. And best of all, Robbie was working out well, taking it all very seriously, planning his moves. He played intelligently and thoughtfully, but not without daring. Robbie is scoring a 1 right here. You know, the ESF and P scale. Robbie's rocking an E, a 1. Daniel didn't like a safe game. It was hard to be the maze controller. I've been calling him the dungeon master. It's maze controller. But that's dumb. I'm going to say dungeon master. You had to be sure the game wasn't too easy, but you couldn't let everyone get killed either. Oh my God, Rona Jaffe understands the nature of being an adversarial DM. She wrote this in a weekend in a hotel room on spec with a handful of articles about James Dallas Egbert and bank pulling. And she gets being an adversarial DM. Maybe she was one of us. Maybe we've been too hard on Rona. I mean, again, she's a looker. He watched carefully as JJ mapped out the maze to scale on his graph paper, making notes, remembering everything. JJ was by far the smartest of any of them, himself included, and it pleased Daniel the most when he could get JJ totally baffled, which unfortunately was never for long. This world he had created, here in his room, with his close friends participating so eagerly, was the best of all possible worlds. It was worth all the trouble he'd gone to this summer to create the new adventure. Michelangelo couldn't have felt any better when he finished painting the Sistine Chapel. A work of art was a work of art, no matter what level. Mazes and Monsters. And guys, I'm just going to come out and say it. As a play example of Dungeons and Dragons, that was on point. We saw all of the character tropes. We saw some metagaming. We saw a DM who put his thought and his backbone into making his game world work. Guys, we know where this goes off the rails. But in that instance, if you ask yourself the question, come on, did Rona Jaffe really get it? Yeah, she did. She understood adversarial DMing. She broadly got 3 types of player right. You got the woman, Kate, the thespian. Was that her name? I don't remember. The stalwart, decent player who, of course, we know goes off the rails and gets the crazy later. And then we've got the munchkin, that guy, the metagamer. It's a really grounded view of what a D&D table can be like. Get your head around that for just a second. I mean, when I first bought this, I remember saying on the show, because we did like a mail call Monday or something, but I said, yeah, I now own a copy of this piece of shit. If you stopped right there and you asked everyone you read that passage to, does this sound like a book written by somebody who gets it? And they don't know it's Mazes and Monsters, or they don't know Mazes and Monsters. Let's say you changed the names around. Instead of Gorvals, it was Goblins. And you say Dungeon Master instead of Maze Controller. Basically, if you pull kind of a switcheroo on somebody, are those the words of somebody who gets it? The answer is yes. She gets it. She absolutely gets it. With that said, by the way, that was the entirety of chapter 4 we just read. Or was it chapter 5? Chapter 5. That was all of chapter 5. This entire book is 244 pages in large text with really short chapters and really clipped writing like that. Understand, though, that also this book was written by basically a romance novel author. So this isn't exactly a big think. But she gets it. Just enough for a made-for-TV movie, yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know, you read this, and then by the time you get to they all linked arms and walked slowly up to the house. Chapter 1, a long expected party. So by the time you're finishing this, you're now fully ready to start reading the Lord of the Rings. Guys, don't misunderstand me. I'm not calling this a good book. This book did great harm to our hobby. This book and the associated movie drove a wrecking ball through our hobby. Now, Gary told me that they had to buy the books if they wanted to burn them. But it hurt his heart that people thought Dungeons and Dragons was damaging. Now I have not read the entire thing, but now I intend to, because okay, even a blind squirrel can find a nut every once in a while. It may be that the rest of that is just so off the rails in terms of no, she actually doesn't get it. Mikey died playing D&D after he left the Our Gang group as the original Alfalfa, and he drank Coca-Cola with a mouthful of Pop Rocks while playing D&D in the steam tunnels underneath a satanic university. Yeah, we got to remember the Pop Rocks. Yeah. So Mikey went on to, he was the original Alfalfa who did oh no, we got to completely bend all of the urban legends in. He was Alice Cooper's son, who did the Life cereal commercials and then died playing D&D when he put a mouthful of Pop Rocks and then drank Coke. There we go. He was that ECBSD 6 wins. He was the ghost kid in 3 Men and a Baby. There you go. That's it. You win, sir. Yeah. The car door was a hook. So, yeah, I mean, if it comes back to it and I get to a point where it's like, yeah, no, she didn't get it, that was just pure luck, I'll let you guys know. One thing that's interesting, and I'll come back to this. So we were making Lord of the Rings comparisons. This is divided into books. Yes, this 244-page novel is divided into books. First, we have the prologue, The Game, Spring 1980. Part 1, The Throw of the Dice. Fall the year before. Full the year before. Part 2, Randomly Encountered Monsters. Just got a whole section here. So yeah, so this is a book, for lack of a better term, that is about 60 pages long. Then we have Randomly Encountered Monsters. Was not really demarked. It's Randomly Encountered Monsters. Looks like it goes up to That one's a little longer. That one goes up to page 172. Or no. There's two chapters in there. There's that or two parts rather. So that's let's see. Because we've at least got up to part 4, the maze. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 13. So part 4, an epilogue. So we've got a prologue, an epilogue, and 4 parts. So this whole thing is 6 pieces, 244. So it's about averages 40 pages of light, breezy reading. I loved the myth books when I was a kid. Riotously funny stuff to 13-year-old me. Anybody ever play the Finding? I have a few of them right here. I have, that's The Dying Earth, which is not a game book. I have City of Thieves. Do recommend this one. Starship Traveler. Absolutely recommend that one. And then, of course, the classic, The Warlock of Firetop Mountain. Take care, Great Old Ones channel. Thanks for hanging out. But yes, I have 1, 4, and 5. But I love City of Thieves. I like all 3 of these. I like all 3 of these. And I have 2 of the Steve Jackson. These were kind of follow-ons, not sequels in any way. But this was a whole campaign series. This was sorcery. It's sorcery. And this I think was 4 or 5 volumes. But I got this one at Walden Books, I remember. And this was after my Dungeons and Dragons books were taken from me by my parents and put up on a shelf. So when this was seen laying around, there was a lot of very nasty looks and attitudes from my mother. But this was 5 books, I think. But the thing about it was, initially with book 1, if you wanted to use the spells in the book, basically if you wanted to adventure as this book series equivalent of a magic user, you had to buy the spell book that came separately. I knew getting that spell book, getting a book that was the book of spells, would have gone over about as well as me dropping trow and shitting in the middle of the dinner table. So I just kind of suffered along playing a fighter when I would play through this. I tried to program this in. I tried to code this into my VIC-20. Didn't work. I didn't understand stuff. By the time the 3rd volume came out, they were just including the spell book with it. So yes, if you stuck with a series and we're just like, I'm not paying more, I'm just going to be a fighter, it doesn't matter to me, at least by volume 3 you actually got the spell book included with it. That's, you know what, that's going to bother me. I want to know how many of these things. I honestly, as a guy who never fucking gets to play, is that a Lankmar series? Yes, the Forgetful DM, it is. This is the White Wolf releases. Ill-Met in Lankmar, Lean Times in Lankmar, Return to Lankmar, and Farewell to Lankmar. Omnibus versions of all of the books. RPG Gen Exile, hello. Gonzalo Lira's Bartabs, as you never know till you try. But let's, you know what? Let's have a gander, if we will. Okay, so it's 4-part. It's 4-part. Book 1, The Shamutanti Hills. Book 2, Kara, City Port of Traps. Book 3, The Seven Serpents, the one I have. And Book 4, The Crown of Kings. You can play as a warrior or a sorcerer, with the latter requiring use of a separate sorcery spell book. Not so. Spells are cast using 3-letter words, and the system is designed to be challenging, often requiring specific components. They form a single overarching narrative, although each can be played as a standalone adventure. Features printed dice faces on pages, allowing for diceless play, and the game books were longer than average fighting fantasy titles. They were adapted into a series of interactive, that's text adventures. A multiplayer role-playing campaign based on the series was also established. Yes, it was. And by the way, these were illustrated by John Blanche, who, of course, went on to do a lot of lovely artwork for Games Workshop. They actually released 3 of them in as D20 adventure modules. The 4 gamebooks were converted into an RPG adventure book by Graham Bodley for the Advanced Fighting Fantasy system. The book was titled Crown of Kings, a Sorcery Campaign, and published in 2012 by Arian Games. It was credited to Jackson and Botley. The book also reprinted Blanche's illustrations. So let me see here. So I will often get the itch to pick stuff up. Yes, please do like and subscribe. I would appreciate that. Steve Jackson Sorcery. Okay. The spell book is $50. That ain't gonna happen. The two two of the RPG World books are $100. Shamutanti Hills is $30. Someone has a lot here of 4 of them for $130. The Seven Serpents, one I have, is $65. Spellbook for $71. Let's see. A 2003 reissue of Crown of Kings is only $13. The Seven Serpents, $14, located in Canada. You can get it without breaking the bank. You can get it without breaking the bank. I mean, I have to look into it. Reprints for much cheaper. Very cool, Joe. Send me a link. You know what? I would absolutely love to have the 2 volumes I don't and the spell book. So send me a link and I will check that out. You can send it to me on Discord now and I can share it out with everyone if anyone's interested in that. So let's see here. I think that was from Young Joe. Oh, good Lord. That is an entire brick for about $50. I don't see the sorcery series here, Joe. Am I missing it? Death Trap Dungeon, Citadel of Chaos, House Hell, Creature Havoc, City of Thieves, Forest of Doom, Port of Peril. Yeah, no, it's not in that set, bud. Lone Wolf series. Here's a whole big box of them. Looking. Yeah, I don't see it in there, buddy. Anyway, so any other D&D related questions, anything else, any questions in general I can answer for you guys? Please feel free to ask them and I will do my best to answer them. Somebody asked how I come up with all the shorts. Guys, let me tell you what. If you're looking for content, if you want to jump ahead, I'm not going to tell you guys in advance, well, I'm doing a video titled this. You're just going to have to get that video. But my video, like, I will go to RPG Geek and just search for an author that I know worked at TSR, or search for something that was something D&D related, and just start scrolling and just find stuff that I think's interesting. I mean, there's a lot of them in there. Let's look on Spamazon. So Steve Jackson sorcery, we'll start there. Oh, there's a whole box set from 2003 for 180. That's a bit steep. That's a bit steep. Yeah, I think we're gonna pass on that. Car City Port of Traps. And there it is, $28. $28 for an RPG book. And the price probably follows. That's over on Amazon, by the way. The price more or less, you know what? Let's look. So $9. Okay, $9. And what year did we say this was? This is a 1987 reprint, so I think I got mine probably in 1984. That tracks. So maybe it was $7.99 in 1984, but let's just take $9 and put it through the Greatest American Hero. Oh no, I don't want to. The second or third episode ever of Simon and Simon, guess what? Focused on D&D. We've talked about it on this show a little bit. Kid playing solo D&D and salami slicing ATMs with his Apple computer, no lie, to fund his D&D habit. Boy, they were going hammer and tongs at nerd culture. So let's see. Inflation calculator. So in 1987, purchasing an item for $9 in 2026. We calculate, yeah, $26. So it's, and over here, $28 plus delivery. I mean, that's the price is about the same. And here's one for $11. It's, you know what? I may pick that up. I may just have to pick that up like today. But anyway, do I have the Thieves World box set? I don't. I have the guts of the Thieves World box set. I don't have the box. That donation that gave us these great magazines and other things that I'm going to be donating, or that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. That had the guts for the Thieves World box set in it. They're sitting around on a shelf here somewhere. Actually, I think they may be in the donation box over there. I'll have to see. I have somewhere around here, I have the Thieves World board game from Mayfair. I think I still own that. I could be wrong. I know nothing about Robert Asprin's Thieves World series. I don't. Now, a lot, you guys know, of course, there's the Dragon Magazine stack here that we're going through. We're doing giveaways. What is my favorite Dungeon Magazine module? Probably issue 1, because I never got Dungeon. I didn't. I've grabbed PDFs online just because I needed a map. Like, that for a night's game. Ever try place? Yeah, no, I'm sorry, Advanced Fantasy. I don't. One thing I'm interested to tinker with, because in this stuff actually came a complete set of the Lankmar book. Like, it's the size of the Temple of Elemental Evil. It's kind of a mega module, but it's the World of Nawan Lankmar book, and the 2 Fafhrd and Grey Mouser modules that TSR published. No, there was not a Dungeon CD compendium. And what probably prevented that was the fear of running into what they ran into again with Dragon Magazine. Well, let me tell you guys what's going to be in the in the drawing boxes as I go, and you guys help me clean off my shelves. Is this it? Yeah, I may throw this stuff in there. What do I have here? Good Lord. Not that. that's no, that stays. Sorry. a CSIO hex map, which I know is, let's see, CSIO. That's Judges Guild stuff. I think we're into it now. Let's see, what do I got here? Player's Guide to Sanctuary. I got that. Don't do that, ECBST. You'll all die of liver failure. Game Master's Guide for Sanctuary. Personalities of Sanctuary. And then I got some maps here. I have the maze. There's the Vulgar Unicorn. I know what the Vulgar Unicorn is. And then there's the Maze Underground. And then there's this big poster map of the city of Sanctuary. So I think this is the complete contents of the box set. It's box away, ECBCST6. ECBST6, sorry. I got too much stuff, guys. Which is one reason I'm doing the drawings. Hang on a second. So now that I've got stuff going out, what is the most entertaining autograph that will forever be missing in your DMG? Take your pick, either Sutherland or Trampier. The only reason I don't say Jim Rosloff is I don't think he had an autograph in there. Missing those guys by this much, each of them, hurts me to think about, especially when I could have spoken to both Rosloff and Sutherland. All right, let's talk happy stuff. This is stuff that's going into giveaway pile. The first, which is probably the most interesting. Now, I said I'd be giving away, oh, hey, Runeward. Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. Arlie Ermey's autograph. What is it, a swear? All right. So this is something a friend of mine did on print on demand. So what are these? These navy blue hardback books. These are hardbound, digest-sized copies of original Dungeons and Dragons, all 3 books. And these are all the supplements. I don't know if chainmail is in here. No, it does not look to be. You make sure it's not in the back. No. So anyway, we will draw for these at some point in the future. But again, they will go out as a set. They will go out as a set. There's a lot of this stuff that's going to go out as sets. And it's not all like super, like, oh my God, that's super rare. Some of it's free RPG Day stuff. Midnight Legion Last Recruit. An interactive adventure where you decide what. So this is basically like a choose your own adventure booklet. 5e Amazing Adventures from Trollord Games. You know, we'll draw for that. Mythic D6 Quick Start. Now, these are from Pelgrane Press. Cthulhu Confidential and the Fall of Delta Green. If you like your Call of Cthulhu stuff. I will unto excess. Relax. I'm not even sure what this is. Oh, quick start to the 40K Wrath and Glory role-playing. This is basically Warhammer 40K, one of the 15 role-playing games they tried to make out of it over the last 11 years. And it's still in shrink wrap. Very collectible. Fifth edition fantasy, Beneath the Keep. This is basically an add-on for Keep on the Borderlands, the Into the Borderlands, or In Search of the Borderlands, whatever it is. Hardcover. Oops, sorry about that, headphones listeners. Yeah, the Into the Borderlands hardcover that Goodman released. When is my birthday? 23rd of January. Incept date. Let's see. Overlight. Birthright of Kar Ulan. Featuring a sneak peek at the world. Preview. I don't know. I have another Goodman Games. This is Dungeon Crawl Classics in its quick start version. Quick start rules and intro adventure. There's another copy of Beneath the Keep. So if you missed the first one, you got a chance at the second one. Dragonbane from Free League. Tournament style quick start. If you guys like the Free League game system, there it is. Player's Guide to Patolas by Monty Cook. What's the matter, ECBST6? The Dungeon Alphabet by Michael Curtis. The Dungeon Alphabet, a hardcover pod copy from Goodman Games. Oh, that was when I hit the mic. Sorry. A fairly used and missing many pieces copy of Mertwig's Maze. I was disappointed to find out that it is fairly expensive and rare, so getting more pieces was not going to happen. And for the wargamers out there, when we draw for this, Sand, Oil, and Blood, Armored Combat in the 1990s, specifically Iraq. Is that all anybody ever thinks of? I mean, granted, it was in the cultural zeitgeist for so long, but it's like Mout and counterinsurgency. That's all modern war games were. Well, I'd like to fight a hypothetical Cold War gone hot. Nope. Paint all of your minis and all of your vehicles tan. The only thing your tanks are going to be firing is HE and Beehive. If you want to knock down a building with a tow missile, go right ahead. So anyway, those are all going into the ad. You know what's wild about this? Okay, setting aside these for just a moment. You see how thick that is or isn't? By removing these books from my shelves, I feel like I got acres of stuff because I started moving things around. Like I got acres of room. It's just crazy how much room that got me. One day it will become my book collection. Yeah. And the last thing I want to mention, I've teased about this. I've hinted about this. And I'm going to tell you guys about the stuff that's in the next vertical organizer, and then I'm going to tell you how you qualify. Wait, we got to do it right. It's free real estate. Let's see. All right, the second box. And this is all from the Dragon Magazine donator. In the second box, Player's Companion, Book 1. This is from the companion set. This is basically 2 of the books from the companion set. Dungeon Master's Companion. So those, I will be giving those as a set. The Master Set DM book only. Dungeon Module X2 Castle Amber. Real odd one, that. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, a lot of these modules are well loved. I will do my best to find the PDF and print any missing pages or pieces. You get them as they are. These are not collector's items. These are gaming items. I-1, Dwellers in the Forbidden City. That's a good module. That's a giveaway. C1, The Hidden Shrine of Temokon. This copy is in really good shape. This is in very good condition. Now we come to the kick-ass one. Or we start to get there. A G123 and a D12. That's almost the entire Against the Giants. And if you're a poor person, and I don't say that as an insult, you're talking to someone who's pretty marginal. This gives you time to run down the others, because it'll take you a long time to play G1, 2, 3, and D1 and 2. And again, those go as a bundle. But let's say you, all right, Joe Kaufman, take care. let's say you don't get that first bundle. Do you just quit? No. Try for it again, because this bundle is G123, D1 and 2, a pastel D3, and Q1. The entire run of GDQ. Right there. Again, being given as an entire stack. I won't split those up. A well-loved pastel Tomb of Horrors. I thought about having all of the S modules together at once, but nah. A color copy of White Plume Mountain. S3 Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. S4 and WG4, Lost Caverns of Sojkonth and Forgotten Temple of Tharizdun. And finally, WG5, Mordenkainen's Fantastic Adventure. Now, I said that I was going to, we'll blow through all the Dragon magazines. It's just going to be random draw, guys. It's literally just going to be random draw. And if you're wondering, what do I do? How do I get into that contest? You have to be a patron, or you have to be a channel member. Channel memberships right down there. You just join as a channel member, or you can follow the link to Patreon. You have to be a patron. You have to be a channel member. And we will do random drawings, and these prizes will go out to our patrons and our channel members. Sometimes I'll just go through and pick. Maybe another time we'll do trivia. Another time we'll spin the wheel. But there you go, guys. And you can win more than once. You can win more than once. When I'm just randomly picking, I will make sure that I don't pick people that I've picked before or that have won before. But when it comes to the spinner or to trivia, then we'll do it. Then you may wind up with a couple of issues of Dragon, a color copy of White Plume Mountain, and the G1-2 or G123 D1-2 set. So that's it, boys and girls. A nice stack of D&D stuff awaits you. So if you want to get in on that, oh, I don't want that to fall. Or if it falls, just fall straight over, flat down, not off the table like it was threatening to. So subscribe to the channel, become a channel member, or become a channel member or become a Patreon. Being a subscriber isn't the only thing that gets it. So yeah, there you go. That's what's going to be happening as we move forward in the future. You will help me by helping me get rid of like a linear foot. Actually more than that, because I've got that stack of wargamey stuff over there. So I hope you guys will stick around for the carnage. I'll be back tomorrow. I will be back tomorrow, and we will talk more TTRPG stuff for you guys. Please stay tuned for more shorts, for more RPG newsy stuff as it happens. So if you were to send me like 2 more feet of Dragon magazine, if you're being sincere, I'm not going to say no. I mean, it would probably behoove me to figure out what I've already got versus what you're offering. I mean, 2 linear feet that say starts at issue 12? Sure. Actually, I think 2 linear feet. That would be the equivalent of 3 of these boxes full. But anyway, yeah, we'll talk ECBST6. We will talk. Anyway, thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. It was a ton of fun. I will see you all tomorrow night. Then I will see you Friday night. I will not see you Saturday because I will be chilling out. You got my email address rolling across the bottom right there, bsylvie@gmail.com. So take care of yourselves, everyone, and just rest assured that the one thing that I am not giving away is my bouncer and confidant, the Owl Bear. Peace. Good night. Love you all.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around. Some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle way off course? Naked as a toad all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.